Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to Heart Hustle, the space where we talk honestly about love, not the movie kind, but the real one, with all its doubts, silence, and invisible lessons. Today, I want to talk to you, the guy who tries his best, who gives everything, who believes that being kind, attentive, and available will make her stay. And still, somehow, she slips away. You think you did everything right, and yet, it wasn't enough. So let's talk about why so many men go wrong when all they're trying to do is please. But before we dive in, take a second. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Because here, every week, we explore what it really means to love and be loved in a world that confuses attention with affection. It usually starts with good intentions. You want to be different. You want to show her that you're trustworthy, that you're not like the others, that you know how to treat a woman right. And so, without realizing it, you start changing yourself. You say yes to everything, you hide your opinions, you try to keep everything peaceful. You laugh even when you don't find it funny, you cancel your plans just to be available. You play it safe because you think that being too much might scare her away. But here's the truth. When you try too hard to be perfect, you stop being real. And no woman falls in love with a performance. What she's drawn to is presence. To a man who's comfortable in his own skin, who speaks calmly but with conviction, who doesn't need to prove his worth every 5 minutes. What attracts a woman isn't perfection, it's authenticity. It's that quiet confidence that says, "This is who I am. You're welcome to stay, but I'll still be me if you go." That's the kind of energy that captivates, because no woman wants a man who agrees with everything. She wants a man who can meet her where she stands, not kneel in front of her to be accepted. But the problem is, most men don't see it that way. They think that giving more means being loved more. So they start overcompensating, texting constantly, checking in, showering her with compliments. At first, it feels sweet. But slowly, the sweetness turns into pressure. The texts sound like check-ins. The attention feels like a test. And she starts to feel suffocated. Not because of what you do, but because of the energy behind it. You're not just showing care. You're asking for reassurance. You're saying, "Tell me that I matter," without saying it. And that's when affection turns into emotional debt. She starts to feel that she owes you a response, a reaction, a piece of her time. And no woman wants to feel like love is an obligation. In trying to please her, you slowly drift away from yourself. You give up your hobbies, your opinions, even your identity, just to fit in. You start editing yourself. And the worst part? You think that's what love is supposed to look like. But love that requires you to disappear isn't love. It's fear dressed as devotion. And one day, she feels it. She doesn't know exactly what's wrong, but something's missing. She misses your strength, your edge, the spark that used to make her wonder who you really were. Now she knows you too well, and not in the good way. You've become predictable, safe. A man who loves her, yes, but who no longer inspires her. And she starts pulling away, not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. Because attraction dies in the absence of admiration. The truth is, behind all that effort is fear. The fear of not being enough. The fear of being replaced. The fear of losing control. But the irony is that the more you try to control the outcome, the faster it slips through your fingers. When fear takes the driver's seat, desire walks away. Because fear makes you cautious, and cautious love isn't love. It's management. It's negotiation. It's tension in disguise. She senses when every word is filtered, every gesture is calculated, and she starts to miss the man who used to act from instinct, not from fear. That natural energy, the one that made her feel drawn to you, fades away. And in its place, there's a man walking on eggshells, hoping not to lose her. But in trying not to lose her, he loses himself. Being kind doesn't mean being submissive. There's a huge difference between caring and overgiving, between empathy and self-erasure. Women don't fall for men who obey. They fall for men who stand firm but stay gentle. The man who can say no calmly earns more respect than the one who says yes to everything. You don't need to fight for power in love, but you do need to have presence. Because presence, that quiet, grounded energy, creates balance. And balance is what keeps attraction alive. Rejection, as painful as it is, teaches you something. It teaches you where you've been giving from the wrong place. It reveals when your love stopped being freedom and started being negotiation. Sometimes rejection is the universe whispering, "Come back to yourself." Because maybe you weren't really loving her. You were trying to prove your worth through her. And that's not love. That's fear wearing a romantic mask. So when it ends, it hurts, yes. But it also frees you from the illusion that love needs to be earned. The right person doesn't need to be convinced. And the wrong one can't be kept, no matter how hard you try. The shift happens the day a man realizes he doesn't need to impress anymore, that he doesn't need to chase peace, he is peace. He starts to speak slower, to move with certainty. He no longer reacts to silence with panic. He no longer texts to check if she's still there. He gives space, not because he's cold, but because he's centered. And that's when everything changes. Because women can feel it when a man has returned to himself. His energy calms the room. He doesn't demand attention, he attracts it. He doesn't compete, he leads by being grounded. That's the kind of presence that no charm or effort can fake. In the end, the man who truly pleases is the one who doesn't try to. He's kind, but not a doormat. He's loving, but not desperate. He's steady, but not cold. He's real. And that's what a woman truly wants. Someone who's not afraid to stay himself in a world that keeps asking men to perform. Because love isn't a performance. It's truth with skin on it. If this spoke to you, share it with someone who's been trying too hard to win love instead of living it. And don't forget to subscribe to Heart Hustle and leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Do men try to please out of love or out of fear? I'd love to hear your take. Until next time, beautiful people, remember this. Love doesn't ask you to be perfect, only to be real. Because the man who tries to please everyone ends up pleasing no one, not even himself.